So this bright April morning saw us at Cusworth Hall parkrun on the outskirts of Doncaster. We actually came here a few years ago and ran the test event one very wet evening. We've also done this parkrun once officially. It's a one-lap course, it's on mixed terrain, and there's a big hill going down and a big hill coming back up to this part of the Cusworth Hall estate. As you can see from the Strava map, it's quite a complicated course. You start in the top part of the estate, do a couple of loops, go down a hill. There's then a lake at the bottom, which you do once and then you do half a lap of. Watch you don't get caught out there running too much or too little. Then back up a hill, round a field and on some tarmac section to finish.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Cusworth, let's go!
Setting off at the Cusworth Hall parkrun, legs were feeling about 70% fresh as I'd done the Salford 10k the day before. So I found myself in first position, which I was quite surprised at, but I wasn't too concerned because I thought somebody's bound to come past me at some point. I hadn't set off fast, I'd set off at a steady rate because that's what we decided to do. We decided that today wasn't going to be about speed or chasing times, it was just about enjoyment and just having a little run out at Cusworth Hall. So the first part of the course is all on compact path and it's rather flat. In a moment we are going to go along this path past the car park and then we are going onto grass. So the whole course is actually multi-terrain. So I was feeling quite nice here, trotting along behind these guys as you can see. So here we are going on to the first grass section. I actually like this section, it's flat and it's just around a massive field really. Today it was dry so there was no issues with wearing road trainers. In fact I probably would wear road trainers anyhow even if it had been raining because quite a lot of it is downhill on a tarmac path. So as you can see, I'm just about to be passed by a lady, so I didn't stay in first position for long, but that's not a problem. As I said, I wasn't here to chase times and I wasn't chasing positions, but I was happy at the pace I was going. I wasn't pushing hard, I was just running at a nice, comfortably hard pace, I would say. As I said, legs were not fresh. In fact, they were aching quite a lot, but I knew I could keep this pace going for the whole of the run.
Conversely, I'm thinking, hang on, come on here, I'm already writing the title and thumbnail of this video, I'm looking for the win.
Haha, I wasn't after a win at this point, however, I was watching to see how far in front the said lady was going to pull away from me. And as those people who watch this channel know, there are times that I am very competitive, even in a parkrun. So I'm tracking and I'm keeping an eye on whether I can pull back. But at this point I'm just happy to sit and watch and enjoy running around the back of this field. So through the first kilometre in 4:45. Now we have done this parkrun once before and I don't even remember what time I've done on the course in all honesty. So if I was going for a faster time I would have checked that out before coming to the parkrun, but today we were just after a social run. So I wasn't bothered about what time I'd done in the past or well what the course record was for my age group. Notice here John's gone a little bit in front of me. I think he was after pulling me along here, but I wasn't up for it, so it was like, this isn't how it works, John.
Parkrun naughty step for me then.
You can see that the lady that's in first is now pulling quite a distance on me, so she may be just easing into her run herself and she may eventually pull a massive gap on me. So I'm just tracking, as I say, as we go onto the path here and we head towards the back of the house and the scenic views that we've come for today.
Yes indeed, Cusworth Hall parkrun takes place, as the name suggests, within the grounds of Cusworth Hall, which is a Grade 1 18th century country mansion. Over the years it was owned by various wealthy families and the grounds have a commanding view over the newly minted city of Doncaster. For the past several decades, it's been under the ownership of Doncaster Council, and there is a free museum. You can walk around the grounds for free, and there is a small charge for car parking. But if you bring your barcode and display it in the windscreen, you don't have to pay for parking. So yeah, we've got the mansion to our left here. We're passing down the rear of it, and we've got Doncaster down the slope to our right. We will be coming back up that slope later during the parkrun. So Cusworth Hall parkrun is a one-lap course, but there is a slightly potentially confusing section down at the bottom, which will come into play later in this parkrun. So now we've got quite a steep downhill. The lady who's gone into first is getting a good lead there. Dawn is going after her because she's a good downhill runner. I'm not a very good downhill runner, so I'm taking this very easy to keep my knees in one piece.
Yes, as John says, I'm normally a very good downhill runner. However, on this occasion, I was holding myself back slightly, but I was aware of not letting the lady get too far ahead of me. So I was doing enough, not quite as fast as this guy who's coming zooming down at the moment, but I was doing enough to keep her in sight, and I was just going to see how it played out. Now, no other women had gone past me, so at this point I was thinking, okay, so I'm in second. Let's have the competitive head come on, Dawn, and let's track now to see if you can actually get back into first.
Incidentally, if you are a fan of shrubbery, you will enjoy this section. You'll see plenty of plants in the garden to the left and right. As we get down to the bottom, there's a large ornamental lake, which comes into play with 2 laps during this particular parkrun. So we get to the bottom of the hill and we swing a right to do the first lap of the lake.
So yes, second kilometre was much faster. That's because of the big downhill. I've now got my competitive head on, and I've decided I'm now going to start to pick it up and try and catch the lady in first. I'm working well along the lake, and I know we've got one big lap to go, then a small lap to go, and then the hill. I know I'm quite strong, so I'm just giving it what I can at the moment, but I'm not going flat out. I'm still keeping myself relatively controlled, but I'm picking it up slightly. So currently the lady's about 3 places ahead. She's just a speck in the distance, but she's not getting any further ahead of me. And as I said, I'm starting to pick it up, and I'm feeling quite strong at this point. Even though the legs are tired, I know I've got a little bit left in the tank. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's just keep it at this until we get to the far end of the lake, and then pick it up a little bit more.
Quite a narrow path this on this section of lake. It must have given the people who planned out the course some headaches on how to get the amount of runners round safely, and all doing 5k. Anyway, there's Dawn just passing a chap there on the right, and we swing left to complete the first lap of the lake in a minute. You will note a sign there that says first lap left, second lap right. Take note of that as the parkrun unfolds. So we're going to be taking a left here to do the second small loop as directed, because we're still on our first lap. So what gives this course a particularly unique layout, I think it is, at this point you go back onto the trail bit of the lake, and you're now running with runners who are going maybe just a little bit slower than you are. Now, we've all done lapped parkrun courses, I expect, where it might be 2 laps and you overtake people going considerably slower. But Dawn is now going to run into people who maybe are going to finish the parkrun maybe 4 or 5 minutes slower than she is. So moving, and not at the same speed, but at a similar speed.
Yes, as you can see, I'm now having to weave my way through the said runners. Everybody is really respectful of each other, obviously, and people do move aside for those runners who are coming through. But at this point, I'm having to keep my eye ahead to see if I can still track the lady who's in first. I can just see her going around the corner, and you know what? I actually think I'm closing a little bit.
Yeah, still an odd sensation where the runner you're tracking is maybe 3 runners in front of you, and all of a sudden there are 20 runners in front of you. As I say, I've never seen a course set out particularly like this. So we're now onto the narrow path that we went round on the first part of the course. So yeah, people are jumping onto the grass. Thank you, sir, for letting us come through. But Dawn will have to jump onto the grass, and so will I, to make our way around this part of the course.
So yeah, through the 3rd kilometre in 4:32, and you can see here it's a little bit tricky. I'm having to go onto the grass and make my way through. I'm looking ahead at all points thinking, how do I get through here? Right, we're coming up to a corner, and I know this is going to be a tricky section, so I think I go quite wide here. And again, I'm still looking ahead to see if I can see the lady who's in first. I can see her, and I've decided it's time to put my foot down a little bit. Do you see there? I've just had a look at my watch, and I'm putting my foot down, and I'm making my move. Keep watching, because the move is coming.
And remember folks, first lap left, second lap right. You can see the sign coming up there, so we're going right and other people should be going left, unless they're on the second lap like we are.
So yes, here you can see I'm now going past the lady in first. I've put my foot down a little bit. I'm on the grass and I'm approaching the lake, well, far end of the lake, sorry. And in a moment, I'm going to be taking a right turn to head uphill into the woods and then diagonally across the grass.
Now just hang on a minute as we go right as we're signalled. Look, there's another sign there that says first lap left, second lap right, but as Dawn has pointed out to that marshal, what do we have here? We have another female suddenly appearing in first place in front of Dawn. I think, as I said earlier, the course, if you don't know it well, can be a little bit confusing if you're not taking notice of the signs. So she's going up the hill as if she's completed both laps of the lake. I think Dawn kindly tries to explain that she needs to go back.
So, having done my good deed, I power on up the hill. This is a really tough part of the course, and you really have to focus, because in a moment you go across the grass at a diagonal, and it is actually quite tricky to actually keep yourself powering on. You really want to stop, but you can't. You can see it's quite steep here, and I am actually slowing quite a lot, but I need to keep focused and I need to keep powering up this hill. Use the strength I've got, but my legs are fatigued from that race yesterday. So I am praying to get to the top. I'm not looking around. I don't want to see where the lady is behind me, but I'm hoping that she's not making any move on me. So yeah, across this piece of grass, as you can see, it is a really unusual section, of course. But in a moment, there's an even harder bit, because we're going to take a real sharp left to go back up towards the house.
Yeah, we're just about to swing that sharp left. Cap comes off my head and I get the camera so we can get some good footage of Dawn powering up that hill back towards Cusworth Hall itself, and then onto some nice flat tarmac and trail.
So 4th kilometre in a slowish 4:53, but remember that was an uphill kilometre. So now we are going flat along the top, and oh boy, am I glad that we're nearly to the finish, because this last kilometre I am praying to finish. My legs are absolutely gone.
So yes, Doncaster, one of the old centres of the railway industry, made many famous steam trains, including the Mallard, and I believe we can hear lots of sounds that sound like an old steam train at the minute.
Thank you. 1k to go.
So yes, and now we're back onto the grass loop that we did at the beginning, but this is a shorter section of the grass loop. And yes, it is the nice part, because in a moment we're going to come off this and go back onto some tarmac, which I'll look forward to, and we finish on tarmac, which I'm certainly looking forward to, the finish that is.
Fun fact, I have fallen over at 5 parkruns in 623 events, and it was at this very spot where I fell over the last time we did this. It had been raining very heavily, I had road shoes on, and I went over flat. But yeah, no danger of that today. We've had some very warm, dry weather this April.
So just about to come off the grass now, and then it's all, as I said, compact trail and tarmac. So yes, I'm really feeling quite good at this point, even though the legs are tired. What a surprising outing this has been at the parkrun.
Yeah, we chose Cusworth Hall because we've not been for a while. It's local to us. I work in the city, and then we were going on afterwards to do some filming for our history channel. But yeah, we've turned up, and unexpectedly, Dawn looks like she's going to take the win today.
So, at the grand age of 61, it looks like I'm going to be first finisher, well, first female finisher, for the first time this year in a parkrun for me.
So yes folks, let us know if at your local parkrun you know of anyone who has won the male or female category, being a 60-year-old or in the 65 age category, or even in the 70.
Well, I can think of a few in my age category, so folks, don't let age be a barrier.
So folks, once I get this camera straight, let's savour these moments of Dawn coming in to win Cusworth Hall Parkrun, age 61.
So there I am, just having a little look back to see how far I'm in the lead, and it seems I'm quite comfortable. But you know, it's just a nice feeling to finish first occasionally, especially when you get to my age, because they are few and far between. But I do appreciate them. I know it's only a parkrun, but come on, a win's a win at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, what a lovely bonus surprise coming to Cusworth Hall this morning, and here's Dawn crossing the finishing line. By the way, one fun fact about Cusworth Hall Parkrun I didn't mention is that one regular here is Ed Miliband, who is MP for Doncaster North. This is in his constituency, and he's done this parkrun several times.
So my official time was 22:55, which was a course PB for me, and it was also a female 60 course record at Cusworth Hall.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like, and please subscribe to the channel to see further parkruns, races and other training videos. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.